got this up, it's recording. First and foremost, is anybody super brand new, never been on any of these sessions before now? My first question. Well, YouTube is deciding if it wants to record this or not. Maybe. Okay, if you're brand new, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I'm new.
Hi, welcome. What's your name?
My name's Clark.
Nice. Well, welcome to the team. I'm looking forward to working with you. How long have you been trading?
I signed up for the Signal service last month, so I've just been watching and rewatching all the videos you have pinned in the chat, and finally decided to set an alarm clock to get up. This is kind of early for me, but very, very, very excited.
Fair enough. Just out of curiosity, are you in Arizona or something? Or what? Are you California? Where are you at?
I'm out in Salt Lake.
That makes more sense. So I was like, okay, it shouldn't be too early. But I feel you. I'm not a super get up before I have to person myself, so I definitely can sympathize. So.
Long term, I'm still debating because typically I'm a night owl. So I'm frequently open when the European market's open. So long term, I might have to sort of, weigh my options, decide if early morning is better for me, or if my brain just doesn't work that well that early, I might just choose to stay on a nightish owl schedule and trade London.
Well, if you have the lifestyle that will be conducive to you being up for London, you don't have somewhere to be, your kids or anybody depending on you during the day, London is a great way to be. And you can still apply any of the lessons and strategies, tools, whatever indicators you want to London. So not a bad way to be. Otherwise, I
Very
vote
cool.
Get up with New York and come hang out with us. That's my vote. But
No, fair enough. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. So for those of you who are brand new, I actually got the opportunity to meet with a couple of attorneys. Well, I'm going to say opportunity and blessing and curse this weekend. And of course, got another earful on what's legally allowed to be said and what's legally not allowed to be said. And Lord, that is a big list, especially for someone like me, who's just pretty open and yappy in general. So, as you guys know, anything we discuss on this call is for educational purposes only. I am not your financial advisor. I am not your legal advisor. I am not anything of the sort. So, I am just another person hanging out with you guys. We discuss potential ideas and theories. So, I'll say again, I believe most things work with the right management and rules and in the right conditions, but it's up to you. So, I can't tell you guys what you should do. I can just tell you what I see and what I do and some ideas that I would maybe bounce around if I'm going to say it perfectly correctly. So, Lord knows that needs work. There's a disclaimer, it's a high risk activity, but it's also got a lot of potential. So, what you do with that is 100% on you guys, nothing else. Order of operations. Most of y'all have heard this a plethora of times. I don't need to read everyone. We're looking for a couple of trades. I do have a bias. I'm trying not to, but it's my opinion. And obviously, I'm going to follow what the market gives us. But we definitely want to keep that in mind. Your stop loss should, in theory, be above or below structure if you're buying or selling. That is the safest way and to be. So if you're going for a set number of pips or a set ATR, cool. That's how you know your trade was valid or not. Now, of course, you can get in or out based off of other conditions, which we go over quite often. If you haven't heard it, watch a previous video and you'll hear plenty of that. We're only going for about 10 to 15 pips on a pair, a Forex pair, 150 pips on an index. So that's it. I mean, you can go for more. You can go for even like 300, especially on US 30. That one seems to spit it out like nothing else. And guys, I can't emphasize enough what you guys can do in 30, 40 trades going for even, 200 pips, 150 pips on one of these indices. It's crazy what you can do on that compounding sheet. And I do mean that in weeks, in less than a year, okay, in a few months, because there's going to be some ebb and flow. You have no idea what is possible if you can get the discipline to just do so. So you know how to voluntarily close your position, all that other good jazz. Best practice is a manageable personal budget. That's my advice for me. I say make this a business and it'll pay you like one, which means you have some kind of setup in terms of this is what I can afford every month to either reload or pay for subscriptions or reinvest into myself or my education or into new tools, gadgets, and what have you. So that's kind of my thought process in terms of how to be the most successful long term. And of course, you want to withdraw every couple of weeks, even if it's only a small amount. It gives you the practice and it makes it pretty real. So, indicators, take a screenshot of this. I'll wait a couple of seconds, just seconds, because most of us have, phones. Some of us are cool enough to have iPhones, and that camera pulls up pretty quick. I can't speak for Samsung, but I know iPhones do. Oh, I don't think Derek's on here to talk mess. But here's the strategy. Take a picture. A couple of seconds. I'll leave it here. It's very simple. And again, I'll say that I've as I get to work with a lot more traders and people from around the world, I think that the most of us would agree, some of us would agree that most strategies, indicators in theory work. Most of them work in the right conditions with the right rules, provided you can make yourself see them in that way. So whatever tweaks and edits you need to make, and it's duplicatable and it's yielding results, it's worth your while. So last but not least is how to compound. This is, again, what I do. I can't tell you what you should do, but this is kind of awesome. This is literally all it is. So for some of you guys who have huge amounts of money, I'm not suggesting you go hard with a $50,000 account. I am suggesting that something I do is I keep my big money separate, and that I'm super safe with. I don't risk a lot. I don't get greedy. I don't make a lot of gains, but I also don't have a lot of drawdown or a lot of risk in that account whatsoever. It's very slow, mild, ups and downs. However, I'm big in terms of, for me, a couple $100, maybe even up to 1,000, depending on what my budget looks like for that month or that whatever time frame, and just see what I can do with it. Doing something like this with a small amount of money is, again, potentially life-changing. What you can do in a matter of weeks or a couple of months, following the same strategy, going for the right amount of pips, good stop loss, reasonably accurate strategy, and that's all you need. So any questions on all that stuff so far? Any at all? Let me minimize this. Okay, cool. Well, then before I go to my actual chart, I do want to do this real quick. Oopsie, wrong chart. So you guys know that the election is coming up next week. We have NFP also next week. So let me make sure the right chart is showing. So I want us all to be prepared. And yes, that's why we only said so many entries on that challenge, is because we don't want you guys to feel like you have to jump in and out with so much going on in the market. But I also don't want you to miss out on what potentially could be, life-changing moves. And it doesn't mean it will. And it's going to be super unpredictable to decide what happens anyhow. But we know that the NAS 100 is very closely tied to some of those, medical companies. We know that the vaccine is greatly affecting this particular pair. So having said that, when we watch this and we're kind of getting an idea of what's happening, knowing the basic areas of where it's stopping, where it's going, and this is all in theory, these are just structure, it's trading in the zone, saying, hey, if it breaks above, we're going here. If it breaks below, we're going here. Again, if it breaks, retests here, and so on. So I wanted to pull this up, huge time frame, almost irrelevant for scalping, but it is relevant for the fact that, let's go to candles again. We have this kind of formation at the top. We know that we were making all-time highs. I'll go back to the huge, time frame. We have these enormous drops, mostly from COVID, mostly from all the other stuff. But now we've got this kind of almost double top, almost M formation. Some people wouldn't count it because it's not exactly straight. But look at these wicks of rejection. And when you add stuff like this to what we're seeing in terms of the election and COVID and so much uncertainty, obviously it's anybody's guess and anything can happen. But if we keep breaking below these zones, and particularly if we break below this zone, okay, this middle kind of portion here, we have a very, very strong amount of room of what we can get out of that. So measuring the smaller side, okay, if we're going to do that same level of a kind of a move, your next target, I mean, if you're going for a measured move, this is what you'd be looking at in terms of gains, which is potentially life-changing on a very small lot size. Yeah, now granted, that would take swinging it. And obviously we can get in and out a bajillion times with scalping. But for those of you who are looking to maybe hold a position or understand what's happening in the market, I just really wanted you guys to see this as a zone, see this as an area of interest, to see these kind of areas where price has stopped. We broke below both of these, but of course we wicked straight back up. So now we're sitting in another zone, which is, this whole thing is really a big zone, and it's kind of just staying there. So knowing what we're doing and what we're looking for in terms of the overall move is going to help us exponentially. So does everybody kind of see the formations that I'm talking about, understand the potential, what could come in terms of the next couple of weeks? Anybody at all? Oopsie. No, don't do that. There we go. Nothing, huh? Nothing.
Yes, we see it.
Guys, this is kind of, it's exciting for me. Thank you, Barbara. See, I know I can count on her. This is exciting. If we keep breaking above and we break above this structure, there's nothing to stop us from here to here. And it's going to be hard to make ourselves want to keep entering in on those buys on our system, but there is nothing to stop us from here to here. That is a lot of pips. If we keep breaking below, okay, then we have a ton of potential, which again, I'm not going to dare try to predict either one, but I really want you guys to see this. So when you make these targets, and of course, this is recorded for future purposes, every one of these zones is marked. I will eventually go ahead and add my setup once I get the direction that I want to get on the higher time frames, and then see how it plays out. And this is something that people will talk about if it happens the way, you know, all the gurus are predicting will happen. So having said that, let's go real quick. Why is it not here? Let me find it. I know it's on here. In theory. Everything is a theory. Let's go to here. There we go. What I also want you guys to see is that US 30, Dow Jones, has a gap that was never filled. That gap is present on multiple brokers. It is present on TradingView. And as I believe it was Scott mentioned on another call, Awanda has the least gaps it's said to have the least gaps. So for certain brokers to have this, for TradingView even to have this, and having not fixed it and corrected it by now, does give it some value. Now, remember, we don't trade gaps. We don't just buy up and say like, oh, well, it has to fill, so we're going to buy right here. We're at a low. Oh no, well, we're at the double bottom kind of reversal strategy, timing bottoms. It has to fill, so we're gonna buy. We're not going to do that, but we are going to kind of wait and see what happens. I did have an entry here, but obviously we were kind of getting knocked out. Plus we had divergence kind of show up. Divergence was present. So I said, okay, I protected my position. And now, of course, we've got this nice little pullback. So long term, this again is a ton of pips to the upside. There's no guarantees, particularly with everything that's going on in the market. But this is something to truly take a look at and maybe get a feel for in terms of what's possible with this pair. So you don't have to just buy and buy because you decide to. You can still wait for our entry, to give us our strategy to give us an entry. And you can wait for your rules to line up, but just to let you know that you have a lot more, opportunities to either scalp up or to potentially hold and get a bigger chunk of the move. And actually, same thing with German 30. So German 30 also is not present on here, but it has a gap that was not filled. It's only present on a couple, but this is the one I wanted to have on my chart for me. And then I just got to know, I will go over that here in just a second. Again, so this has got some buyer's divergence. It doesn't mean it has to. It just means it's a signal to potentially decide to buy, right? So we still need to wait for our strategy to tell us what's up and what's going on and give us that entry. But we definitely have some upward potential, huge amount of pips, no guarantees. This should be less affected by our, US election nonsense, but they have their own drama and stuff going over there. So anybody have any questions on this kind of structure-based stuff? I just wanted you guys to see this before we went to the MT4 charts and all the other good stuff. And these are potential kind of playouts. There's no guarantees.
I didn't notice over the weekend, I've been working so hard on trying to get the license manager running that I didn't pay any attention to the markets at all yesterday. That big move, we had a big spike up in NAS followed by a big drop. Did anybody know of any news events that may have been catalysts for that?
That's a good question. I know that it filled the gap. So NAS popped up, filled the gap that it had, and then it dropped hard, like really hard. And then I think they said stuff about the vaccine, but I don't know anything else personally.
It's all about the Corona-19 increase in all of the deaths and infections.
Well, that's to be expected. I mean, it's a coronavirus, which is the same thing that causes the cold. It is affected by weather and temperatures.
And they got this big cold front moving out west, I believe. And I have a really close friend, a PhD, multiple PhD holder actually, in Italy. And they're shutting down that country again. A couple of countries are going back to complete lockdowns. Not just Italy. There's a handful of them. So it could be that.
Yeah, also there was someone had some adverse reaction to some of the trial vaccine. vaccinations.
I heard about one of those about a week ago.
Yeah, they mentioned it yesterday too.
Okay.
Well, that's just something I don't know about all that, but that huge spike up, I know it filled the gap perfectly and then it dropped hard. But notice how, guys, these are not nearly as correlated as they were a few weeks ago. So just let's pop to the hour real quick. I mean, overall, sure, but this is NAS 1 hour time frame. This is German 30. It's still going down. That one's a little bit closer, but now look at, it's so silly. That should be on here, but it's not. And it's moving a little bit differently. It is definitely moving a little differently. So this one has not made the same spikes kind of back up as the other pairs have. So it's just a little different in terms of how it's moving. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing these. I just wanted you guys to see that structure-based stuff. Thank you, Scott and Barbara and everybody for the input. That makes the group a group. I'm going to go to share screen, make sure this is all good over here. Let's see, my BPS. Here we go. Portion of the screen. Got it. Hey, look at that. Small favors. So, if it will let me, gotta control the box. Got the box. Now I'm gonna make sure the window is a little bit more perfect and fits in here so you guys can see it better. So real quick, S&P 500, all we're really looking for is an entry. So I definitely have my bias. My bias is to the upside on US 30 and German 30. But like we talk about, our job is to try to keep that out of it. And it's not easy. It's simple. It's just really not easy to do. So we've got that nice drop on US 30. Let's go there. Oh, that's not the right chart. I don't know if I have one without all that nonsense. I had to update my brokers this weekend. So when I just reloaded this up back for class, it had all kinds of other stuff on it again. That's the beauty of tampering with your brokers. Not super advantageous, though, I'll say. So huge, nice drop on the downside. Looking for the potential to start buying. Broke below the 50s. 1 hour time frame. We're definitely kind of coming down again. We're still below the 1 hour, the 30-minute 50 and the 1 hour 50. We have yet to kind of break here, which if we do, we have some room to push down. So we still have to follow our rules, regardless of what those are. If we're going to have a sound trading strategy, our job is to keep our bias out of it. Of course, we can insert structure and have some rules, but our job is to keep our opinion out of it and just do what the charts are telling us, to go where the money is going versus trying to predict and tell Wall Street what to do, because our little voices are not enough. So retest of the 30-minute 50, we had a nice crossover again. I would want to wait for it to break, and it could break at opening bell. So let's see, it's 10 minutes to opening bell. So a couple things I wanted to discuss this morning that we haven't discussed in previous classes are this. Jenny, is your bias based off of next higher? This is current next higher. Yes. So real quick is number one, we've been avoiding opening bell, trying to let some of the new people kind of come in and figure out what they're doing. Opening bell is scary, and it could definitely wake both directions, but it's also, you don't have to like miss out on that. You can totally take your entry, protect it, because let's be honest, it could totally whip back, and that would just be your cushion trade, if you will, your few extra freebie pips. But if you get a signal on your strategy right before opening bell and it moves in your direction, most of these indices move enough to get your 10 or 100 pips out of it. Most of these indices, particularly US 30 and NAS, move enough to get you 200 pips out of it, or I'd say US 30, 300 pips out of the opening bell 1, 2, 3 candles. So I want you guys to know that while I'm on here, I can't necessarily always call that trade, because some people are not millisecond ready to jump in, at that second. But I want you guys to know that that's still a good thing. And if your strategy is lining up, 1 minute, 5 minute time frame, take it. Go get your free 200 pips. And if that's one of your 2 trades for the day, you're talking 2.5 weeks to, above $50,000 with an 80% accuracy rate. 2.5, we'll just say 3 weeks. So that's what's possible if you guys can kind of stick to that. So that was number one. And number two, I'm going to check my notes, is this. If you guys are taking a reentry, so 2 things, and these are the things that you guys can hopefully pick up on. If you're taking the reentries, those are the ones you're kind of scalping. The re-entries are the ones you are kind of protecting, you know, close to 10 or 100 pips. Your original entries are the ones you should, in theory, be having your stop loss set and kind of catching the bigger part of the move. Your original entries are the ones that, in theory, are the ones you have your stop loss set and are trying to catch the full 300, 500, 1,000 kind of pips. So we don't go over that often enough in terms of class, but that is the difference in terms of how I trade. And I was having a conversation with somebody this weekend, so I wanted to make sure that we went over that. So again, I'm gonna say it one more time. Your original entry, that 3 and 50 fast MACD, ADX lining up, the structure is in your favor. That's the entry that what I would do is have my stop loss set and hopefully catch, you know, that bigger set of pips. If I decide to take re-entries on this kind of a down move, I'm waiting for the retest, right? And of course, this is the one I'm only going for the 10 pips, the 150 pips, the, you know, 20 or 30 pips, depending on the speed of that pair and how it's moving. But this is the one I'm scalping. This is the one I'm going for very small amounts. And this is the one I'm overprotecting. So if you guys have to overprotect something and you want to know the difference, that is the difference. So if, again, it's the trend, wait for the retest. And of course, in terms of original entries, if it's against the trend and your basic overall trend on the bigger time frame, wait for the retest, and then you won't get knocked out and stuff like this. We broke above. Excuse me, that's coffee. We broke above. We retested below, and then of course you got your pips out of it, which is an insane amount of pips. In theory, this would have been plenty, but this is your move. That's it. So everybody see that pretty clearly? Anybody have any questions on that? I know I just kind of spit that out really fast, but it's really, really relevant. So very, very relevant.
That's very helpful. Thanks.
Thank you, Donna. See, I can count on you. Okay, 5-minute time frame. Here we go. You guys are all chatty Cathy's this morning. So 5-minute time frame. Here we go. We wicked down. We are still failing to close below. So I don't have nearly as much of a bias in terms of what I think this one is going to do. If we get a break below this kind of structure line, which we drew last week, not today, then of course we're going to have something pretty awesome to go off of. We have enough room to kind of get our pips out of it. So 5-minute time frame, we're still in buyer's territory, but we have broken below the 5-minute 50. We've officially retested the 5-minute 50, but we have too much structure here. So for us to get the valid sell, I mean, that's not even quite 100 pips. This is not quite 200. That's about, you know, not quite 300. So if this does break below on opening bell, you have enough to probably get your 150 pips, or I would have enough to get my 150 pips-ish and get out really quick, even if it was opening bell. Of course, we could just get this wick down, push down, wick back up, and shoot the other direction. So as long as you're protecting, that's totally fine for a trade. So I'll keep this one on 5 minutes for the sake of it doesn't move nearly as fast as US 30. Now we'll go take a look at German 30. Kind of comparable thing, 5-minute time frame. I would need it to break below. So if we break below, because again, we've got our sell arrow, and this would have been our entry, because the next candle does make a lower low, and you got your pips, woohoo, happy camper. But as of right now, since this is when we're coming to the chart, now we would need it to break below this structure. And again, this would just be kind of the scalp move. This is not your original entry. Your original entry is up here. Okay, this is your original entry. This is a re-entry, so you'd be protecting it as such. So this one has a little bit more room, but it's a slower mover, about 400 pips-ish of potential if we do break below. If we're looking for the buy, on the other hand, this is the breakout. We pulled back and getting ready to go up. So potential scalp to the downside. Otherwise, I'm still looking for this to buy. And back, and we'll take a look at this, although I don't trade this often, as you guys know. Comparable story. They're all pretty comparable on the smaller time frame, I guess. So I put my foot in my mouth. I don't like this one for the simple fact that look how close the structure is. So I hope you guys can all see that. We don't want to get stuck in that, especially with the slow mover. So think about how big the spread is, and we'd have to wait for it to break here. The spread is half of that already. So that's not quite enough room. So we'd have to almost zoom out further and say, okay, what else do we see? Let's pop up a time frame and go back over. So that means we'd have to be waiting for it to break here. This 3400, which happens to be a quarter theory kind of whole number, but that's where we'd be needing it to break before we decided it was worth another sell down. And if so, we clearly have some room. but currently we're looking for sells on the short term kind of scalp level. And even this is only 200 pips, guys. That's not a lot of pips. But it like we've talked about before, you would simply go for like 5 pips or 50 pips on this. You would go for
pips on SPX is a lot.
200 pips on XPX.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, how many? Well, this is
That's half the ADR.
yeah. So that's right there. That's half of the ADR.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not then. Well, so you'd be going for like 50 pips on this at most because it just moves slower.
Well, you haven't got a lot of movement on the toward the ADR yet today. It's been very, very flat. So the to hit the ADR low right now is about 496 pips.
That's too much. Oh, that's a lot. I see that. Huh?
And about the same to the upside, 501 pips.
Not bad. Hmm.
So it's very, very flat.
It is just kind of and we haven't, like, if I grab my crosshairs, we didn't really even make it up to kind of retest this. I mean, I suppose we did a little bit, but we definitely have some room. But this didn't have the same gap as the other ones. I don't think. I didn't check this one. And GU is going up, or was going up last time I looked pretty well. So this doesn't have the same gap. Not a valid one.
But it's a little bit.
It's got to be enough room, right, to be willing to trade it. So that's what we're looking at, guys. So for right now, you guys are gonna have to pick your poison. I'm not loving the way NAS is moving. It's really kind of consolidating. So you see all these wicks, and it's just kind of in, kind of out, kind of in, kind of out, kind of in. So I'm not looking to necessarily call a trade on this one as much. Just look at the candles. So sometimes when we look at the candles, we can see, hey, wait a minute, that's a hot mess. And it is. It's totally a hot mess. If we compared to some of the other indices we just looked at, this is kind of like just doing its thing. So we've officially retested. We could totally get the drop, but we need so much confirmation to do anything on this pair. So for now, I guess I'm going to go to German 30 and kind of wait it out and see what we've got. And we'll answer some questions. And I personally am going to see if I can't catch a move on US 30 here in 1 minute. So opening bell is in 1 minute. It looks like we could get that sell to the downside if it keeps pushing that direction. But remember, if you take any of these opening bell candles, your job is to protect it immediately, not later, not maybe, but protect it pretty close, because you could just wick around, which isn't a bad way to be on opening bell. It's just a free couple of pips, help cushion your account for any losses or smaller wins kind of thing. So NAS, let's see. Does anybody have any questions, comments on what we've looked over so far? Oh, here we go. We're getting that push to the upside on NAS. For a buy, though, I would need a little bit more confirmation. So
It could definitely be a head fake.
For the buy, I think I would need to know it's not just going to wick up and kind of come down, because it's looking like what it would try to do. It's just not as clear, I feel like, as German 30 is right now.
But if you look at this, all the pundits are talking about what a huge drop in the stock market yesterday. That the top billionaires in the U.S. have, lost about $14 billion each yesterday.
I saw that, actually. I had it on my big TV, the news channels.
But if you look at this, we were sitting all the way up here and we came all the way down here, and we've digested a lot of that. It's been kind of a pretty steady move up. And so that's, it's telling us that there are definitely buyers down here, in this area, and there are definitely sellers sitting up in here, but that's a wide range.
It's too wide. Yeah. I mean, there's room to make some money in here, guys. Let's try this again.
But it's a good sign for the economy is what I'm trying to point out. The fact that people are thinking that it's a bargain down there and bought it back up, because that's a lot of power shown in that V. You make a big move like that and a big move back up, there's power there.
All right, guys, we're getting the drop on German US 30. Sorry to interrupt there.
That's okay. I'm done.
Okay. I'm like, okay, your US 30 is dropping. So I'm looking for, I told you I'm not in love with this one. If you're looking to take an entry, I would personally, don't be a silly butt. I would personally take one. I would need to kind of break this level, and it's breaking that first one. It kind of pushed down already. So just make sure you protect that. I'm only in on German 30, sorry, US 30. So I'm waiting kind of still on German 30 to see what happens. So US 30, I won't count that as a signal just because it moves too much for some people. And it could be the fake out to the downside before it does go up, which is my bias. I'm trying to keep out of everything. And by me saying it out loud, then I have to hold myself accountable. So US 30, we broke below that level kind of perfectly. Now it's just a matter of seeing what's going to happen. So this was the level. And this has plenty of room. Which also means NAS is popping off.
By the way, this is the 61.8% retracement of this move.
Okay, so we're going to call I'm going to tell you guys that I'm going to take an entry on NAS at 11509. Again, that's 11509. That's my decision. We're probably going to get some chop. The reason why is I already missed the first push. It's probably going to pull back at some amount of time, and I don't want to be stuck in the middle of it. So I'll say again, I'm going to take an entry at 11509-ish. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. We broke below, but was probably going to pull back. So I don't love this one nearly as much as I would love to see German 30 and US 30 go up, but I don't get to decide. They told me no. I tried, but they told me no. And US 30 moved almost 50 pips or almost 500 pips, which is pretty stinking awesome. Pretty stinking awesome.
400 out of it.
400.
Yeah, I'm at 70, what, 700 pips, what, 70 pips.
That's, I don't think we're friends now. Who is that? Who is that talking?
Mike C.
Good job, Mike. I'm just picking on you. That's awesome. Way to go. Well, I don't want to wait till after opening bell every time, because especially with US 30, if you guys cannot flip out on me, I will call you a trade on US 30. Most often on opening bell, we'll get our 200, 300-ish pips. You know, we can do that in 10, 15 minutes. And I have no problem doing that 5 days a week because I do that, you know. No problem, no drama, no headache. No guarantee you'll win every time because you will not. Sometimes it'll wick too fast. You won't even get a chance to predict it, but it's fairly simplistic. It's very, very possible. Okay, so
I agree.
Okay. When I click off, it does this weird thing.
Just moved my stop loss further into profit.
Good man. Good job. I'm so happy for you, honestly. Seriously. Okay, so German 30 does not appear to be moving. It's just kind of sitting still. So I'm going to back off of my need to kind of chase this trade. You guys know my overall analysis is to the upside. But again, we have to wait for the signal. So rather than hoping to see if we get this breakout to get these 400 pips, let's go to NAS. We're wicking down, but we're still not kind of at that area of where we needed to be. So we knew that was going to happen. We knew it was going to push back up. So now the blessing is if I go to a smaller time frame, I can even go to the 1 minute and wait for me to get an arrow. Literally that simple. Just wait for the arrow and then you're good, right? Then you know you're with the trend. You don't have to second guess and fuss and worry and get a super headache. And if we don't get one, we don't have to enter this trade. If you had entered here or caught it, you know, as the opening break in terms of that scalp, that's fine. But since we did not, or I did not more accurately, I need to wait for this 1 minute time frame. I'll take it. Not bad. Okay, so does anybody have any questions, comments? If you guys played with US 30 on opening or NAS, good job. Let's see. But otherwise, I'm waiting to give us a fresh arrow for the sell. Or again, we need the break and the retest for the buy. So fresh arrow for the sell on the 1 minute NAS, or the break and retest for the buy. Because we never came down and kind of touched that entry level. So does anybody want to participate in the challenge? Maybe win a little bit of money, learn a little bit about the ATM. Does anybody have questions in terms of the ATM that maybe we can help you with?
I had a question about the ATM.
Okay. I might be able to help you, or maybe Scott can. One or the other.
Great. The lock profit feature, when it hits a lock profit, because I was doing the visualize tool, I'm kind of confused about what lock profit does.
Okay, there are
Because-
two boxes. If you enable profit lock, you have the price that it has to achieve in order to lock the profit. And then you've got another box that sets the point at which it locks. So it moves the stop loss to the second place.
Okay. Because
So that is the thing to say. If I get this far, I'm moving my stop loss to take profit, or I mean, not to take profit, move your stop loss to break even, or move it to less risk, or move it into profit. That's your choice.
Got you. And then how would you set it to move it into profit?
By setting a number bigger than 0.
Okay. So,
And if you want to move it to less of a loss, then you can move it to a negative number.
okay. So when it goes to the lock profit, and then it'll be at an ATR or whatever, if it's like 0.5, because I know right now the originals, well, the settings that we have were at 0.5, I think.
Right. And you can set that to whatever you like. So there's lock at a particular level. That just says that when it gets to this place, then you're going to go to where you set the stop loss.
Got you. Okay. I think I got it. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so we posted the rules for the challenge in the group. The whole idea is to give you guys a whole almost solid month through the election, through the NFP, through what inevitably could potentially be some massive moves. So suggesting a trade manager and an EA for a strategy that we know works within reason, okay? You guys, you have no idea what's possible even through all this mess, provided you guys take some really good entries, you know your overall direction, come down to the 1 minute, take every little entry. You can have scalping settings. You can do so many things. So I, again, encourage you, play with any EA. I mean, I obviously am a fan of ATM, so that's the one I'll recommend. Plus, you guys get the chance to beta test it. But honest to God, any EA, just something that's going to help you manage your trade when you are unable, is going to be enough. It'll be a game changer of some kind. So that's why we set the challenge up that way. The rules are pretty simple. You have to post a screenshot when in around the time you enter, showing some form of management is activated. That also helps other people to know what you're looking at, kind of gives them a sound idea. It's kind of a win-win for everybody versus having everybody post trades that are well expired, and then you just have a bunch of noise in the group that only benefits a little bit. So that's why we designed it that way. And of course, at the end of the week or end of 4 weeks, or maybe we'll do it every 2 weeks, we'll take a look at the account history and say, okay, you can see what trades close with the stop loss or a take profit. And you should have some, weird ones in there somewhere around saying, hey, this one was kind of scaled out. But for the most part, every trade in your account history that is not a scale out should have closed in a stop loss or a take profit. So that's what we're hoping to learn, to be hands off a little bit, learn to be totally hands off. When we take a trade, cool, we won. We took a trade again, we took a re-entry, cool, we won. That kind of concept can set up. So
Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
How are you?
Fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Can you go back to Nas for a second, and can you go over your MACD settings, because mine shows up completely different.
We're breaking below this. This is enough. Well, before I do that, hold on.
Okay.
Everybody else. This is enough room. So that's not a lot. It's enough room to get your 10 kind of 100 pip scalp out of it. If we break below here as a scalp, as a more, and you've got your arrows to kind of confirm that. But you'll notice that the ADX volume is real low, just not a great move. So if we do break kind of below and close below this area, we might have a small scalp on our hands. Otherwise, we're looking for more ideal conditions. Just real quick to discuss that. And now to go to my indicators and answer you. We might get it. No, we're still wicking too much though. Okay, so current next higher, that means the bias and the histogram is for the current time frame, right? Sorry, that not the bias, but the histogram and the crossovers and things that we're looking for, the conditions, and the histogram are for the current time frame. The biased is next higher time frame. So that means if everything is met on the next higher time frame, then it's going to give us current signals. If everything is not met on the next higher time frame, it is not going to give us current signals. With me so far?
Yes.
And then you can just take a screenshot of all this. I'll stop here so you can snap a picture.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Did you have any particular questions I can help you with?
I was just noticing that the arrows were showing up differently on mine, but I think some of my settings were a little bit different.
So this is still a personal preference. So let me just reference that. These are an idea. So you can choose to have 50.
But I was trying to figure out why the green bars going up there. I don't have those. That did not show up on mine at all.
Are you on the same time frame?
Yeah. Yep, I am. So
you can, okay, let's discuss some of the arrows real quick. The arrows, you can choose to have the 3 and 50 cross, either filtered with the fast MACD or not. I like that one, but I like it better just looking at the chart. You can choose to have the fast MACD retest. I do like that one in terms of a reentry. I don't always take it, but I like the presence of it. And then, of course, the bias change.
Which one is the fast MACD for the retest? Which setting is that one?
It's right here. Do you see it on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
So
I see okay. For fast MACD 0 cross. Okay.
Yep. So then I'll go back to it and I'll pull this up. So this is your next one, and this is still variable. So this has so much potential to play around with this and just make decisions for yourself. And I can't ask you enough to do that, because the more that I play with things, the more I learn. So I know the strategy. So with or without the arrows, it's not make or break, but the arrows help you learn the strategy, is the whole concept to them. It's not meant to be a listen to the arrow. You still need to see what's happening on the chart. And when you combine that together, it's pretty awesome. I mean, the potential is amazing. So,
okay.
And then there's that. And then, of course, the risk management stuff is pretty snazzy. Once you get to know how to use it, this is not optimized for me or for you at the moment, but just whenever it will let me go down. Let's try this again. Let's see what's happening. Oh, NAS is pushing up. Oh. So the last part is not optimized. I don't know why, but it's just, I don't really use it on this broker too much. So.
Okay.
Why will it be a silly butt? There we go. But you can play with this quite a lot, and you have a lot to gain from that. So it will give you dots on the screen. It'll show you potential take profits, stop losses. It'll even give you a lot size based off of your risk and everything else if you haven't played with this.
Yeah, I have those. I was just trying to figure out why my my MACD lines looked almost non-existent compared to what I see on your chart.
So they're skinny, so there's no volume in it?
Correct.
Same time frame?
What are you on, the 1 minute?
This is 1 minute, yes, ma'am.
Yep. Yeah, so I was trying to figure that out.
Okay, well, we're getting the buy, guys. So any potential of the sell, we're out. So I'm going back. I'm not looking to necessarily buy this as much like we talked about on the structure chart. It just has so much, and I'm not going to not buy it if my conditions are met, but it has so much of a mess over here that it's not as pure as I want it to be. This is all, just this zone of where it's pulled back, hit, pulled back, hit, pulled back, hit, pulled back, hit, pulled back, broke through, came back to it. So we're back in this just mess of a zone. So we don't want to necessarily get stuck in terms of looking for a buy here. We want to kind of wait to see what the market gives us. Doesn't mean we can't get our nice couple of pips. We just want to be super careful when it happens. So it could also just be grabbing a couple pips, which is what it looked like it did at Wick to make a higher high on the 5 minute time frame.
I was waiting for it to do that as it breaks above this level here. As you can expect a spring, it's probably going to come all the way down to there.
And sell down. So 1 minute time frame, we don't time tops. We never time tops. So I would be waiting for an arrow. And as long as we have enough room between wherever we get that arrow and the next level of structure, and or there, the next level of structure, you can take that for a scalp, period. Like it's definitely doable.
If you watch the price form in here, it kept doing pushes up and pulling in, pushing up, pulling in, and then it did this climb that just, kept on pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. I was waiting for a reaction up there. It almost looked like it wasn't going to happen because this was bullish for a bit as well. And I finally got the reaction I was expecting.
For it to kind of just
Or
spring.
to push back, yeah.
Well, let's see. Come all the way back down to here. I don't know if it's going to come all the way back down to there. I don't know. It would have to do a continuation. That's 400 pips.
Yeah, but when you've got a range and it moves way outside the range and comes back in, often there's enough force to push that all the way down.
Okay. Well, we've got a potential. We're waiting for the 1 minute, to give us a sell. So we needed to basically break below this 50. It might not give us an arrow, but provided the 3 crosses the 50, I can take that. I can take an entry here. And these are scalp entries. These are not kind of hold entries, but they're scalp entries. So I'm waiting for the 3 to cross the 50 on the 1 minute time frame to take an entry, or I'd be waiting for this. So the 3 is this magenta line. It's still kind of playing around. Now we're getting it. So now I will enter. If he's got to break that zone first. Come on, give us something. I'm in. So now we'll see what it gives us. Let's see. I'm going to drag and drop everything I need. And if you're in this, great. What I would do personally is I would be looking for my 200-ish pips. I would protect somewhere after 100 if I'm not using a trade manager. And of course, if it allows me to go more, let's pop to a higher time frame real fast. If we get more out of it and we happen to break below the zone, great. And if not, that's fine too. Then we don't have to worry about it. We got something out of it. So
keep your screen right there, Jenny.
Yes, sir.
So we've got a consolidation range that was kind of sitting in this area. And notice they bring it down here to try and pick up breakout traders. And then they pull it back away to trap the breakout traders. Then they push it up here to try and catch the breakout traders. And then they pull it down.
Hold on. Sorry, Scott. We got some background noise. It sounds like a kiddo.
Yep. And then they pull it back inside, trap those breakout traders. And then they will choose the direction that they really want to go.
Just trapping everybody in and out.
Yep.
See, that's the issue that I'm having. During the breakout, it goes the other way. I'll lose a few pips and then I'll catch the big move to the correct side. And I'm trying my best to avoid it, but I don't know how to avoid it because I don't want to miss the move.
Well, you can't. A couple of things. Again, we'll say what Mark Douglas said, and several other master traders say the same thing. You have to be willing to take your 5 baby losses to get to the win that pays for them all.
Okay.
And if you can psychologically do the whole, I can emotionally and mentally handle the 5 baby losses until I get to the win that pays for them all. Because again, we get to this baby loss, and we're emotionally and mentally, and our account is drained. And now we get to this trade that we should be trusting. It is breaking out, and we don't trust it. So that's the biggest takeaway I've got for you there. But you shouldn't be taking every breakout. Like, I don't trade NAS on the 1 minute, and this is the 5 minute. Even if you just followed some basic rules, this candle does not make a lower low, you don't take that. This candle does not make a lower low, you don't take that. This one you might have taken, sorry, poor English, but you did not have time to protect, so this would be close to a break even or a marginal loss. This one you take and it's a win. This one you take it and this doesn't actually cross back over. So in theory, you could win this one if you trusted your analysis. If you second guessed, you got out. There's no cross up. This one you take because all your rules line up. And that's just with what's on the chart now. And that I already explained that this is choppy and
right. I normally don't take the breakout per se. Say this purple candle that wicked up. That's the one I take, and it goes down. and it knocks me out because I'm trusting the trade manager because my stop loss, it quite naturally probably would have hit my stop loss, and then I'll go the opposite way. So just playing up and down, that's the one that I get head fakes a lot.
So you do like a
Yep, that one right there.
pending order buy right here. Like, okay, we broke above this zone, we're buying, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the one I always get faked out at most because I'm always on the 5 minute during open sessions in London. And a lot of times that's the candle that always gets me. It seems like it's going to break out and then it wicks and it drops down.
Well, here, let's go back to the other time frame. In terms of opening bell, you want to catch quick pips. So remember, this breakout is late, and it's fine if your structure is telling you have tons of room. But like we just went over structure. So at the beginning of this class, I said, I see a clear direction for US 30 potentially. I said, I see a clear direction for NAS potentially. And that's fine if it scalps down 400 pips or if it scalps up or left or right. But I do see a clear direction potentially. I also said in terms of NAS, I don't see a clear direction. So on my structure analysis for me, I already knew this one's just, it's in the foolery. It's just, messing around. There isn't a clear direction. So if I'm going to know I'm taking unclear directions, this is a gaggle of a mess. So it's not a fair example. And I don't know what candle was opening candle. Was it 1630? Right?
Yep.
So if that's opening candle, it wicked up, didn't give us much at all. And then of course it went down. So this one didn't even manage to close above these fractals. The next one.
Now we have a perfect doji on a 1 hour candle.
Doji to the up or down? I'll take a look at this.
A doji.
Well, yeah. But is it at the top of a move or the bottom of a move?
So just go to the 1 hour.
So this was enough. Well, I wanted to show him in terms of the 1 minute take, you can get your pips. The 3 cross the 50. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, you don't make a lower low. The 3 cross the 50 here, this would win. This choppy will say you would take a loss or close to your break even. But following some really fundamental rules, you wouldn't have taken this. You would take this and just in and out, in and out, in and out. Very doable. So back to the 1 hour.
No, we're climbing now, but we were at a perfect doji. This one, your line is hiding the wicks.
Let's delete the line. Oh, that is a beautiful doji.
And it was sitting right there. We're starting to move now.
Like I said at the beginning of class, I don't love the way this is moving right now. It's got too much. So like we talked about on the 4 hour, this is going to get messy as we go to this chart, but this is probably set in class. So we'll delete that, but delete. This is just a mess. We've got too much stuff in here for it to decide what it wants to do. So big time frame says we've got room, but we've got an election, we've got an FP, we've got the COVID nonsense, we've got all this stuff. People, country divided. We're not just certain political parties, we're people, and we're all divided, right? So you've got all this stuff going on around the world. This is a mess. I mean, do I want to see this drop? Yeah, but we just don't know that's what's going to happen. It's just too much in this zone. If we get a doji off this, that would be the weekly 50, or that's the daily 50. That would be a really clear indication to buy.
Sorry, I wasn't able to talk earlier, but I had to run and get some caffeine.
I feel you, Derek. I'm all about the caffeine. How you doing this morning?
I'm happier than RuPaul in San Quentin.
Well, that's a darn good way to be. That is. That's awesome. Hey, guess what? I went mock skydiving this weekend, kind of like pretend skydiving. It was awesome.
Bless your heart.
I know, right?
I've been in too many choppers to skydive.
It was fun except for my hair. So I got to post the pictures, but we had a great weekend away with the kids, and I was like, yep, just living it up. I thought about you and all of your.
How do you mock skydive?
It's a place called iFly.
Up by the skydivers, and you make fun of them.
I know. So I went with my children. Right? The 3 of us, we never have a day and a half where like we just actually are all together. We have the same schedule where we have the time. So we turned out we all did. So we literally took off Friday. We went up to Georgia, hung out with a couple of friends, went to South Carolina, stayed at some beautiful resort on Hilton Head Island.
I'm jealous. I saw that.
We went skydiving, well, the skydiving is a place called iFly, and it's really cool. So we did a ton of sessions in there, and you're like legit flying. Like you are flying.
Mhm.
It's so much fun. It really is.
And what they do, they put you in a big vertical wind tunnel.
Yes. Yeah. And they hold you.
Oh,
It's still not like jumping out of a chopper though, but it's much better.
Oh yeah.
I think the threat of death is probably missing, but that sounds fun. I've seen commercials for that.
Right.
It's probably still underwear changing moments.
No, it's not. Actual flight time when you skydive is like less than 60 seconds or something of actual falling. So this is supposed to be double that, or mocking that part of the experience. And now having done that, I think I'm in love.
It's really cool.
I know some of my friends still jump. I was like, you're crazy. You're jumping when we don't have to.
Derek, honestly, think about the amount of muscle it takes. Like we joked about, the muscle in your armpit, how guys have those, boy muscles that girls don't have, I think. But either way, all the muscles in your shoulders, it is honest to God amazing.
Yeah, like when George Bush Sr. jumped it when he was like 80. I was like, that man is crazy.
I couldn't imagine what it would do to his bones and like the
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, he got some donkey testicles.
That's like the right time to do it though. It's, you never know when your time's around the corner. So
yeah, I guess so, but
get a tattoo, jump off a building.
I guess so. Okay.
Go into dangerous neighborhoods. You ain't got nothing to lose.
I mean, I'm a little brave. I'm actually not that brave, honestly. I'm not. Like I don't love tattoos. I'm pretty, I'm not that person. Just fun. Say fun. Okay, Jamal, sorry, we're still kind of waiting. It hasn't made a higher high, so I'm in that cell personally to answer your question. And I'm waiting, and I'm kind of just bouncing around these time frames. Like I said in the beginning, this has so much of a mess going on, lots of wicks. I'm not in love, but once we're in the trade, my only job now is to say, hey, if I don't break this high, which is a little bit high for my taste, but it is what it is, I'm going to hold on to this trade, and I've got some room to push down. And if it fails, it fails. We haven't lost a trade in weeks. It won't be the end of the world if we do. Well, not at least on a live call. I haven't lost a trade in weeks. So we might have to push up a little bit. You have to decide where your stop loss is going to be. I think our lovely Scott is drawing a channel. Hey, Scott, will you do me a favor, please? If I shrink this up, will you redraw it? So let's talk about stop loss. Okay. I'm going to shrink it up a little bit. Maybe, baby.
Yeah, that's
kind of ugly, but I wanted to shrink it up to say, well, I'm going to go the 5 minute, I guess, because that's not going to work. And now I'll zoom in. One more.
Yeah, where I'm going is, kind of like just in here, which is, this is really ugly price action.
It's very ugly. It's very ugly, guys. Which we knew, in all fairness, and that's okay. So now I'm in it. And what you guys will learn in terms of what I do is I'm reasonably good at being super calm. So win, lose, or draw, this lot size could be a 0.2, which, as you know, on NAS is a lot with the 400 pip stop loss. But when you trust your edge and your overall trading, one losing trade does not make or break your day. Honestly, a handful of losing trades doesn't make or break your week. Some people literally, the majority of their gains came off of, one trade a week. Like, so when they go back to their monthly history of their trade journal, it was like this one trade. It was like this 1 or 2 trades each week that they got. The rest of them were mild profit, mild losses, just kind of chop and nonsense. But as long as you know what you're doing, then that's kind of it. So for now, I'm going to hold it. You're at the side where you want your stop loss to be. That wick is pretty high. And like Scott was drawing the channel the first time before I messed it up, which means if this continues in the triangle formation, the stop loss could potentially even be up here, technically, because it would be continuing to make a slightly higher high before it comes back down. So that's where I'm at, and I'm going to hold it until, given a reason not to. So we're above the next higher time. We're above the 50 now, though. That 50 now. I hate consolidation, Scott. I don't like it. It's not my strength either.
I'm just seeing a lot of pressure this way right now. You look at the lows and they tell a story.
Yeah, but the last story you told said it has to sell down. And I said, I don't know if it's going to go that far.
Yeah, that's what happened. I said it often does.
I'm like, okay, it's okay. This is a choppy pair right now, which we knew at the beginning of class. So let's take a look at German 30. Again, we still have the potential for a scalp, although my overall analysis is saying buy. I'm not going to use my bias in terms of entries. I'm going to use it once I get an entry. I will use that bias to hold and or stack and or, take multiple entries. And US 30, same thing, choppy as all can be. No real clear movement. I don't know what happened, if we're waiting news or something. Does anybody know where all the volume just went in the market?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm actually in the buy for it right now. I'm down 2 pips.
You're going to buy for US 30?
For US 30, yes.
I'm not in a buy yet, but good on you. Okay, can I ask you why you took a buy?
The reason I took a buy was because I have been watching it since Asian session. And I knew that, in my mind, it was an automatic trading plan for me to, if it reached or touched those lows that it currently cleared, that I was going to take the buy from there because I felt like it was going to bounce back up. So I could easily get, but I'm very few pips there if I wanted to scalp it or hold it.
Huh. Well, I'm all for scalping in and out different directions. I just don't have a confirmation on my strategy as of right now. I was just curious, that's all. Learning together. I would need the confirmation. So that's got to cross. This is already up, got a beautiful retest, but we have no volume either. We don't want to get stuck in something with no volume. And we don't control that. NAS is trying, guys, so have some patience. German 30, let's try S&P. That scares me with how slow that moves. Like, that's treacherous. Gold, on the other hand, has a really clear direction, and it's definitely got some room. It definitely has some room. For those of you guys who are kind of coming back to gold, gold has current arrows. It does need to break this high, but in terms of getting your 100 pips, gold is a great trade. I want to take a look at GU too, though.
Did you say go for the buy you was talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Jenny.
Yes, ma'am.
Before the call is over, can I share my screen so that you all can see what my MACD looks like?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yes, ma'am. Okay, just checking real quick on GU, 15-minute time frame. Beautiful, perfect entry, came down, retested. Again, we've got all these choppy wicks. We want clarity. We don't want to trade in a spirit of confusion. We want clarity. This is clear. This is clear. Even this one's clear, but now we're back in this mess. So I'll zoom out. We're trying. Okay. Well, it looks like it was trying to come down. It was close to it, or I think it was in profit, but I didn't have a chance to protect the NAS trade. Not yet anyway. So I think it was close to in profit or in profit, depending on where you entered. Now it's just playing around. So if it gets close to in profit, protect it, or maybe even decide to close it. It's not a beautiful trade. It's not an appealing trade. It just has too much nonsense going on. So too much. So yeah, it went into profit, but only for a brief second. Very, very brief second.
It's pulling back down.
Let's see. Well, it's okay. It's we can't control like when this kind of stuff happens. I like this. The sellers are in control, and then the momentum is going up. I like that. We just need our 20 pips, 200 pips. We don't need a whole bunch. We just need some. That's all. Just some.
The Senate has left Washington, D.C., so there's not going to be any stimulus before the election.
The Senate. Oh, I heard that one. Maybe that could be impacting some of this too. So
that might flatten things out a little.
Yeah, that's curse word ridiculous.
That's crazy. Oh, hold on. Norman said, I flew 12 feet and landed on my back, and I'm not even planning to fall 1,000 feet. Okay. Well, I'm not sure where you flew 12 feet, but I'm glad you landed on your back versus other directions. I would totally fly 1,000 feet though. Sounds like fun. Just cause to live, you know. But okay, back to the charts. This is where we're at. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting. That might be kind of it. If you caught the opening bell move, great. If not, that's life. I like US 30 for the buy, like we talked about really, really early on. If you want to take a late entry, I would take one in and around even here when we break the next higher time frame 50, because we've already missed this one. So when we break the next higher time frame 50, I mean, it's going to retest, and that's okay. Provided we get the healthy retest, yeah, I'm taking it. Super awesome. Oh, this is next higher. I was like, why don't we have an arrow here? That's why. That's why I said wait for it to break and retest, Scott.
No. On it out.
He's like that. Just point it out. I see it. Don't worry. You've helped me see consolidation and those zones much better than I did, to tell you the truth. Much better. And I still don't love them. I don't love them.
You don't have to love them, but you need to be aware of them.
Oh, and I know. I just don't want to trade them. So when price looks ugly, like I just don't want to trade it. That's all. And that's my so.
Yeah, and the reason I keep pointing this out is that, when you've got a zone like this, and notice I started it up in here, that we have a pull away there, and we're getting a pull away right here. You kind of have to expect that reaction, but you can also look at a break happening and then a reversal back down in. So it's just something to be aware of.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to add to that though. So hold on, somebody's like fiddling or maybe cooking, or I don't know what they're doing, but it's making noise. I'm trying to mute y'all. Daniel, I just muted you. If you raise your hand, I'm sorry. But you can talk here in just a second. Something I want you guys to also be aware of, as we discuss, as volunteers kind of come and hang out and add insight and talk about Fibonacci and do all kinds of other things, don't let over information and analysis paralysis be your problem. So some of us, take the most intelligent person in the world, some of them make horrible traders. Take the smartest person in the world, you'll notice they really stink at certain industries. And it's primarily because they have so much, knowledge. It's basically you come and you see every single potential, and then therefore you can make no decisions. So every bit of information we discuss, some of it's a lot, and I get a lot of feedback on that. Sometimes it's not clear enough, and I get feedback on that too. But at the end of the day, keep it simple, keep it simple, silly. It's still your best, prerogative. It's still your best motto is if I trust this in the most simplistic, pure form to the best of my ability with these rules, can this work? It's literally that simple. So all of this knowledge in foresight, like in hindsight, is amazing in hindsight. But in foresight, if we are literally stopping to make every decision based off of this, and this, we're only going to hurt our own trading. We're going to get into analysis paralysis. We're not going to be able to enter. We're not going to be able to exit. We're not going to be able to hold. We're going to second guess, re-enter, forget, get back in, take a scalp, don't hold the swing, and do like 50 really bad things that hurt our trading. So.
But to be clear too, when you've got a consolidation zone, it leaves the consolidation zone eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
So, that's backing up what you're saying. It's like you can say that, okay, it often comes back up and touches this zone and pulls back away, but eventually it's going to pick one of these zones and move through it.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to enter. Just be aware of what the possibilities are and have your, have your trading mechanism in mind based on that.
Yeah, I like that trading mechanism. I like that. I like it. Okay, so does anybody have any questions other than the person who wants to share their screen? In terms of the challenge, in terms of trades, I'm going to hold NAS until I'm given a reason, a bigger reason than bouncing around the 50. If you enter in consolidation, the 50 can't be your exit if you're in consolidation. So I can't just exit all willy-nilly every 2.5 seconds. My only decision is to, okay, I'm going to see if I can't get some pips out of it. If not, It'll be the first loss that I've taken at least live in weeks and weeks. So I'll take it with a smile and not complain. You guys know that overall on US 30, I'm really hoping to see this go close that gap. And the same thing with German 30. I'm really hoping to see this stop fooling around. We've got this beautiful formation here.
You froze Jenny on the US 30. You said what gap? I couldn't see.
Here, I'll show you.
It was a Sunday open gap.
So look, again, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. You should not, would not, could not, green eggs and ham level bank on a gap. Coming from the girl who did it, and I was very, very, very wrong. Okay. So should not, would not, could not bank on a gap. So I hope you guys caught that. It's a really big deal. This is the opening. This is where the candle closed. This is where it opened. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, get a little bit more clarity. It hasn't really closed yet. And this amount of room is enough room to be valid. So there's no guarantees, just like anything else. That's, we'll round down. Well, let's go to the wick. We'll say 400-ish pips. That is enough room to be valid to say, hey, this has to come back and kind of close it. Now, it doesn't have to touch this exact spot, which is what most people get wrong in gap trading. It doesn't have to come here. That's what most people think. Now, a lot of times it does, and it could, and it might, but you always want to kind of have a slightly lower spot than where it actually happened. And if I'm looking to the left, I don't have a bunch of, decisions to pick from. So I'm going to have to go down a time frame to find a better example. So you've got a couple of areas. I'm going to go here. I'm going to move up. This previous structure where price kind of stopped here. That's kind of going to be my target right there, which is pretty close to that candle. It may only come to here, as long as you know that. But it's going to come kiss this eventually. No guarantees, but in theory, like everything else we discussed forever, it's going to come to those.
Always comes back.
And it's going to do something around these areas. Come on, would you stop it? There you go. So that's a big amount. So I'm going to pop to the 30-minute time frame. From here to there, that's a big amount of pips. No guarantees. We've already got one beautiful wick to the downside. This is looking like a bullish candle, but look what's happening on our MACD. We could very well come down, play around a little bit more. I'll move this line.
Jenny, protect your nest.
Protect the nest, almost. Thank you for telling me, Kat. Yeah, protect that or close that. I don't want to play in that one. I don't like the way it's moving. So not just because somebody said it or somebody didn't say it. I just don't like the way it's moving in general. So that's what I'm looking to see happen. For those of you guys who are looking at that gap, we have this beautiful drop and it doesn't have to close. So we could easily get this kind of pull back, and we could even pop and make a lower low. So I'm not saying you should hold no matter what, which is something I've done foolishly in the past. And that was very wrong of me. I'm saying that when you get a signal to buy, consider holding it. When you get a re-entry to buy, consider taking it. I'm saying that, if you're going to kind of stack this up and milk this to get the most of that, this is a lot of pips. So even from up here, if we waited, that's 6,000-ish pips. We'll round it down and say 5,000. That's your entire Christmas money. That's enough to buy you. Well, I don't know what y'all's kids want, but I mean, that's a gaming system at least.
Leather seats.
I know, right?
I know my kids want four-wheelers.
Oh, that's okay. You need to have a little bit bigger lot size on there. Four-wheelers.
Oh, well, I get that deployment money, so when I get home, I'm getting them.
Oh, see, there you go. Do you have land?
Yes, I have 6.5 acres.
There you go. Yeah, if you got land
there,
just don't buy those Chinese ones. Like, at least in four-wheelers, like you got to be handy.
Stop being political.
Well, no, because I still own that land. I have quite a bit of land in Colorado. We did four-wheelers out in the middle of nowhere, tons of land, beautiful. But if you have to keep fixing it every 2.5 seconds, so let's say it costed $1,000 versus the $5,000 for the Kawasaki, Yamaha, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I've actually heard those Taos are actually pretty good and they last a few years.
Yeah, but if you're jumping, well, Colorado's got some elevation, so they were.
Right. Yeah. Well, my kids aren't going to be jumping. They're only 9 and 12 right now. So.
Yeah, right.
You'll be surprised what they do.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. When I was 9 and 12, I was jumping between houses.
All right. Well, it's a good thing that my land is all flat. So.
Where are you located?
Out in Missouri.
Oh, yeah, no hills. Okay.
Yeah, no hills. Yeah, there's very, very little.
Hey, that's not Colorado.
Good barbecue, but no hills.
We had the best barbecue. I think it was in Georgia. It was so good. It was Soul something. Somebody recommended it to us when we were at one of the lighthouses. And this was like to die for barbecue food. Everything was just truly amazing. Everything was like perfectly smoked flavor. I was like, I wish I could barbecue like that.
Yeah, I know.
Like 1,700 calories for a meal, kind of good. Like, no, it's not gonna work. Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, good for your hips, huh?
Oh, well, whatever. Okay.
Oh, I can promise you, I'm already going to gain weight when I get back. Can't wait to have some actual good food next week.
Ooh. Okay. Well, first,
what was that?
Hey, wait, guys! Protect your NAS trade. You're definitely, even if you entered late, you're definitely in profit. So good for you. Protect that. And then I was going to ask Miguel, when do you get back from deployment?
It should be around the end of next week.
So he's.
Congratulations! You're almost home.
Yes, almost.
I enjoyed the flight.
Right.
Yeah, a long flight.
I've done it many times.
All right, hey guys,
Question.
200 pips on NAS. Sorry to interrupt. I'm up 200 pips on NAS. That's great. I'm officially protected now, but German 30 has room to kind of finish its 200-ish pips, and US 30 has room to finish that as well. So if you wanted to take any one of those, NAS I would not retake personally. That's my opinion. But looking at German 30, if you had your pending order, you're in. I am officially in because I had my pending order personally, but this has enough room. I'm only going for like 200-ish pips because, again, my overall bias is something else. But that doesn't mean I'm going to miss out on every potential opportunity that happens. It just means I'm going to scalp it around and play around until it gives me the confirmations I need to decide to hold. So these sells I'm willing to kind of take as a short term. I will play with it kind of entry, but everything else, if it's not with my structure analysis, that I'm not going to be holding. I'm not going to be holding for the gold, which means sometimes I miss out. Let me be fair, but it also means I don't hang on to the counter trend trades as long or make as many foolish decisions. So that's what I'm seeing. I just wanted you guys to not miss that. US 30, same thing. You've got room. This is 600-ish pips, so you've got rooms to get your 20-ish pips and get out. To 200-ish pips if you're counting on an index. 200-ish pips and get out. Go home. Not bad at all. So I'll go to the 1 minute. Go over. Yeah, baby. Kind of awesome. Perfect.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hi, Jenny. Hello. So I'm following along, right? But at the same time, for some reason here on my computer, I'm unable to get into the indices. Like, how is it that you get to US 30 and German 30 and SPX 500?
Who's your broker?
Who's your broker?
It's Hugo's Way.
So right click over here on symbols. Okay. I wouldn't hit show all because that's just going to be a mess on your computer. But go to symbols and you can go to indices and turn them all on. If there's some you don't trade, like for example, I don't trade the Hong Kong, right? I can turn that off. I don't trade this. I can turn that off. I can turn off UT. I don't ever trade that either, or this. And then my broker is taking up less room. Like it doesn't have to go find that data. It just has it already. And so make sure these are turned on. Legit, I don't need this one either.
Just turning those on and off by double clicking on them.
Okay. Forgive me. Where was the symbols?
You're close. So you can right click over here in your market watch and hit symbols.
Oh, okay.
Or you can do it from the view menu from the pull downs.
I think there's like 3 ways to do it. Yeah. So any of these pairs you really want up, you can double click on them.
Oh.
If you don't want any of them, so like for example, if I don't want any of these exotics, I can just click on the actual and hit hide all.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
The spread on the Norwegian Swedish has got to be hell.
I can't imagine though. Some of those spreads are insane, and the movement is just creepy. It's weird. Okay, hey, I'm up 260 pips on that NAS trade, so it's kind of, I'm good. I'm going to protect slightly more now. I was only protecting 80. Now I'm going to move it down a little bit more, and now I'm going to protect, let's see, 130 to 1333. That was an accident, but kind of cool. Now, German 30, I'm up also. Hold on, let me close this and get back to this broker. German 30, I'm up also. Let me measure how many pips. Not bad. Not a bad morning. So I'm only up 100.
Like 11,490 NAS on the way down. It's got a long drop.
That's what I was saying in terms of long-term structure. It's just this mess. Hold on. If it breaks where? Oh, this one?
11,490.
11,490.
It's like down in this area here.
11,490. Well, then if you guys can try to hold that trade. I thought you meant if you broke here. If
No,
it
I mean, if it breaks here, then we've got all that distance to go.
If we break that M formation on those daily higher time frames, you have a ton of room to go. You're talking, I mean, insane amount of pips. Truly an insane amount of pips. So, by far. That's not bad at all. Hold on. That's the 1 hour. That's a lot of room. A lot of room. US 30. If you took that, you're in and out, you're done. Good job. Well, we've got a couple winning trades today. I hope you guys, did some people take some of them? Maybe not all of them, but some of them. Anybody at all get some pips out of this morning?
Yeah. Yes, NAS profits.
How many profits did you get? How many pips did you get?
No, well, I'm driving at the moment, so I don't know, but I know I had profits at the moment.
Okay, well, I'll take the word profits, but don't wreck a car over a trade, okay? Although we all look at our phones too much when we're driving.
It's my second weekend profits with NAS.
Okay, there you go. Well, congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else get some pips out of this morning?
Got 600 pips out of US 30 and started running. I'm done.
Good job. Okay, that's awesome. And I'm proud of you for saying I'm done. Francis said he got 200 pips on US 30. Let's see. Anybody was willing to hold NAS other than Kat? I wonder, Kat, did you hold NAS? Or did you protect it too soon?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you held it.
Yeah, I was on mute, sorry.
That's awesome. How are you doing, girly?
Getting better and better.
Okay. Well, I'm rooting for you, just so you know. Craig's holding NAS too. So I want you guys to know I'm praying for more interaction. I'm praying for more of you guys to see that it's not just Jenny, for you guys to see that I promise you, if little old me can do this, y'all can do this. If I can do this, y'all can do this. And then there's no other simple, nicer, more loving way to say that if I can catch a couple of pips and learn to walk away, that's going to be the hard part, is learning to walk away. Sure, this one might get this ADR low and even make us lower low, which is going to be interesting. But if I can do this, you can do this. That's all I want you guys to know, is if I can do this, you can do this. So that's it. All right, your trade should be protected. I don't know how many we called, but we called a couple, and fortunately they won. So even the one I took for opening bell also won. I protected US 30 just fine. And that's a handful of trades. It's one on NAS, one on German 30, one on US 30, and then of course opening bell. So that's 4 trades, and I don't even know how many thousands of pips, but it's a lot. Although one of them was a little messy and ugly. So any questions for me at all other than Mrs. Share the screen? Let's check out your MACD.
I have a question about the ATM for Scott.
Okay, come on out.
Every time I turn my computer on, my laptop, I have to somehow get into the indicator, and then I go to edit to activate the ATM. Is that normal to do that?
What do you mean you have to go into the indicator?
Oh, well, basically it's like it's locked. It's like frozen or something, and I can't minimize it or exit close it out because I have my charts popped up. And so I go to the indicator list, right click, hit indicator, and then I go to edit, ATM, and then I click on it, and then I can move it around. I guess.
I don't think I've seen that behavior.
Okay.
Wait, do you have the newest version?
Yes.
The other one wouldn't run at all right now.
No, but I always have had to do that. So I didn't know if that was normal or not.
Do you have another broker's platform?
I just mess with the ATM on Hugo's Way.
You could try just loading it on a different platform and see whether it still has the same behavior for you.
Okay.
It might be that there's something just set up in that broker setup.
Okay.
I've definitely used it on Hugo's Way platform. What I'm not saying it's the platform. I'm saying that there might be some setting that is causing it, and I'm just wondering because I don't think I've ever seen that. Have you, Jenny?
I have, but it's mostly because I was trying to run the wronger versions. So I was trying to run the inadequate versions, and or I've got so much stuff on my chart, right? So we have to be mindful that when we have 58, different things on our chart, and then this chart over here might be the one that's bogging down this one, but we're blaming this one. So that's most of the time it wasn't the ATM issue. It was a me issue. That's my experience so far. Most of the time, unfortunately.
So to be clear, was it the indicator or the expert that was freezing?
Indicator.
Expert.
Oh.
So
it's the expert, the one at the bottom, right? We got the visualize.
That's the indicator.
Indicator there.
Well, I have had that freeze, and I've talked to you about that before, Scott, where it was a beast. And I had to close the chart. I'd had to take off the chart, preferably reboot my file, clean up my files and go from there.
Huh. Because, I've never seen that here. If you can try to be aware of the circumstances under which you're doing it, so you can let me know, because I don't want that behavior.
Okay.
I'll fix it if I can figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Next time I'll probably screenshot and I'll just point out how it looks, and then I just always go into the indicator. It's not a big deal. I didn't know if it was normal or not, so I figured I'd mention it to you.
So if you switch time frames and back, does it heal itself at all?
No, it doesn't do anything. As soon as I turn on my computer, it's like frozen. It's locked.
Oh, so the whole chart is frozen.
Yeah, the indicator part.
Have you taken off the indicator and the expert? And then, of course, clean up your charts a little, clean out your logs, and then dragged and drop a fresh one on your chart, or no?
No, I always keep my my thing clean because I make sure I use the video. Ever since I watched that video, I keep my charts clean.
Well, that's what fixed it for me. Was I had to delete it from my chart, clean up this, save a new template, because there was, I don't know the right terminology. Y'all know I'm not that fancy in terms of tech, but I think that there was just some, hidden code, on one of the templates I saved. It was messing up a lot. So that's what fixed it for me.
Okay. I'll try to play with it and figure it out.
All right. Awesome. Hey, real quick, I want you guys to see that we said we were going to enter at the break of this area. We also said that this was our target, and it's not always this perfect. Sometimes it's just not, and we wish it was. But notice how it literally kissed that line, and we didn't adjust it. We didn't move it. We drew that line based off of this structure to the left. That is all trading. And I just want you guys to see that because, look, we said that was almost 600 pips. You only have to get your 200 out of it. Some of us got a little bit more. Some of us got a little bit less. That's fine. But that's 600-ish pips that happened in literally a handful of minutes. So I wanted you guys to see that for those of you. There. I muted you. But just to see what's possible. And we rejected directly off of that zone. It doesn't mean we won't break through. It doesn't mean we won't go back up. But we got our analysis. That happened perfectly. And most of the time when you let it play out, you'd be surprised how easy this is if we just calm down a little and stick with our trade. So. Okay, the lady who wants to share their screen, I'm going to stop my share. I'm ready for you. Are you ready for me?
Yes, it's Rashida.
Okay, Rashida. Come on.
Good to see you, sir.
Hey, Melvin, 1 second. Okay, I'll answer your question in a second. Sweetie, you've got some background noise too, though.
Hold on just a sec.
Man, Naz is still moving. Just see how big the candles are compared to like everything else? Just wicky and ugly.
All right. So you should be able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
it may be because of the ADX being on there.
oh, okay.
Because it's sizing the window to the movement that it's seeing, and it had so much movement on the ADX. Let me go into mine and turn the ADX line on.
Go to a higher time frame if you would, please. Let's try that. If that smooths it out, just out of curiosity. Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
What did you by chance maybe change the ADX settings? I don't think I've ever experienced that.
No, I don't think I didn't know you could change the ADX settings. Hold on, let me look.
I don't know either. I'm just throwing it out there.
There's number of ADX periods is about it. Then, okay, I've got it turned on mine. And I'm not seeing anything that looks quite like yours. You are on the 15th. Okay, you're down on the 1 minute, right? Yeah. So anyway, if you, oops, because.
So right now I am on the 15-minute.
Okay. Let me get to the same here. Okay, mine looks like yours.
Oh, okay.
I think it's because you had that large movement on the ADX. If I could go down to the 1 minute where you were before. No, that looks different than what I was seeing from you. You're on NAS, so am I. Go down to the 1 minute. Interesting.
I'm going to switch the ADX off to see if that changes anything.
Because the ADX is in a different scale than the MACD, I'm doing some fudging of those numbers, and it might be that I don't quite have it right because it's an extreme case. But the thing is, I'm not seeing it looking the same as yours.
Where's the ADX?
You were there.
Oh, I was? Okay.
Yeah, you were there. Right in that area. Hope stop. It's this one right here.
Oh, okay.
Show the line.
So I'm going to turn that off.
And say, yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that changes things. So now it looks kind of sort of normal.
She said sort of normal. Your bias line is kind of faint and small. I'm not sure if you like that or dislike that. I mean, it's
which one is the bias line?
The stuff in the center. It's not super clear.
How do you change that?
Go to the settings. Like, I want you to see it, so I don't want you to just do what I say to do. Like,
yeah,
I want
to see it. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think she has a 0 level turned on, which is overwriting it.
Oh, gotcha.
I can flick that off for a sec to see how it shows up.
Oh, you actually drew a horizontal line.
Yeah, I just drew a line because I couldn't figure out how to get it to show up. I couldn't figure out how to get it.
Okay, let's show you. Go ahead and bring up the settings for the indicator again.
Oh, baby, look what's happening.
see.
I'm out on NAS while y'all are pulling that up. I'm gonna play with some of this other stuff though. You've been
great. Hold on, my computer is freezing. My computer is freezing because I'm on the PC and not the Mac.
See, she's my friend.
No profanity. No profanity.
I was gonna say one more person for Jenny just to have in the group.
Right, you got to stick together, guys.
Hold on a second, everything froze. Hold on. Okay. Let me unshare for a second.
Fascinating chart.
I like your background. I was just about to say that.
I know.
Oh, I like that one. I like flowers. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I know.
Can't. My stuff just froze. Hold
It's
on.
almost a LSD flashback.
You know what?
Flashback, Derek? You partake?
Flashback. That's what causes you to use those PCs. Flashbacks. All right, I'm gonna try it again. You want me to go into my settings, right?
Has anybody else on here read Tools of Titans?
Nope. What's it about?
I was just curious. If the answer is no, then nothing. It's a very long business book. It's very long, and I'm conflicting on my thoughts on it and with who I am versus what it says, and it's like, I don't know. I see it. I just don't necessarily agree with it.
Somebody who's 5'0" will never be a Titan.
Seriously, God. That's it. He just
called me be a micro Titan. It's possible.
She called me a micro Titan.
Short in stature, big in attitude.
Oh, that's true.
There you go.
Okay, so go to your levels tab.
Oh, look at that.
So that's how you can add horizontal lines onto any indicator.
Oh.
So you click on add.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a 0, so you just say okay.
Oh, okay. And leave it this silver color?
Yeah, that's fine. It tends to be fairly out of the way. You don't want to set the width any wider. Leave it just like it is. Click OK.
Okay. Let me get my mouse to cooperate. Here we go.
She must got that Mac mouse.
No, this would be the PC mouse. You know how that goes.
Whoa, what's that?
You're going insane.
Are you on a VPS?
No, I'm on a regular server, but
it's looking like it's just very delay-y. It might be just because you're sharing your screen.
yeah, it usually acts up for whatever reason. This PC acts up when I share via Zoom, and I think it's my graphics card.
Well, I do not see the level added in.
Let me try it again.
Are you okay with how the bias line looks or no?
Well, I think she's changed the size. There is a font size for that.
There is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Your computer might just be haunted.
It could be.
It's a gaming computer, and sometimes when I share
it is not a gaming computer.
Yes, it is. It goes crazy for whatever reason.
I was even gonna say, shouldn't it be doing better as a gaming computer? Because usually they have better graphics.
Oh, this is the thing that I've learned from the gaming computer. For whatever reason, when I do Zoom, I have to change my graphics settings, which I forgot to do before I signed in.
Interesting.
For this.
Oh, to a lower resolution.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't have to do that on Macs, but on
because they don't have the higher resolution.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
I
Where do you want me to go
know
now?
Jenny snaps.
So go to your input. I'm bringing my settings up here. I'm going to find it first so I can tell you where to go.
Okay.
Probably in the bias settings. Yeah. Okay. So you've got, wait a minute. What is the resolution of your display? Are you on a high resolution display like a quad high def or something?
Yeah.
Ah, that's why. Okay. So take that 10 and make it something like 16.
Okay.
Then click outside of there.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere outside.
Okay.
Okay. Now say okay. No, well, don't save yet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Just do the okay down in here.
Jesus. This is embarrassing. I will not join this call.
Ooh, that's a Mac mouse.
Yeah.
I will not join this call on a PC again.
Okay, there should be an okay down where I drew that box somewhere.
I will say this, your screen is like crystal clear. So
yeah,
in spite of all the other issues.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I can
a little bit bigger.
I have to fix it when we zone.
Yeah, it's the quad high def thing that there's what it's having to do is communicate the information from all of those pixels upstream on the internet, and then it gets compressed into something that will fit on our screens, and there's just an awful lot of processing involved.
Yeah.
That's the reason. It's the quad high def thing.
Oh, I don't have that.
So otherwise, like a good computer, it's just like she said when she needs to use it for Zoom.
Yeah, usually I reset my settings for Zoom, and I forgot to do it this morning.
Yeah, but see how these dots are just a little bit bigger now?
Uh-huh.
So the font size will set that.
Oh, okay.
Well, can you
So
see
that's a font, because these things down here are actually a font.
Ooh, sorry about that.
Woo.
Well, here, if you stay still for a second, I'm going to annotate. I'm going to do what Scott does. I'm going to just do it.
What kind of computer do you have?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Huh?
It's a Razer. The PC.
Oh, Razer. Oh, okay, gotcha.
What I'd like you to see is that these are actually supposed to be different colors, and I don't think that's really coming through. Like that's supposed to be yellow. Like well, my eyes are struggling to see it. So I don't know what you're seeing at home there.
Where are you, Jenny? Are you talking about the bias line?
Yeah.
Some of them are a little yellow, and some of them are a little.
Yes.
I'm seeing the colors here.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so if you can see it, fine. But if you can't see it, then you're missing out on literally the data that was built to give you the, information. Because this is supposed to be a different color. This is supposed to be a different color. This is all showing you sell, and this one's clear, obviously, because everything's.
I'm not seeing your annotation at all, Jenny.
They don't, it's disappearing. You all can't see me?
No.
Okay, well, it's just not there.
Being a different
But I
color.
know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah.
So.
We can't hear you either, Jenny. Like the last time.
That's it.
So Scott, I also had another question. When the arrows show up, so when they show up pointing up versus when they show up pointing down, it does not necessarily indicate bias. It's also telling me about what's crossing and things like that.
Right. Anytime there's an arrow, it depends on which arrows you have turned on. But the up arrows mean it's a buy signal. And, when everything is hovering around a center line like that, wow, that's interesting. I drew this and it refreshed. Yeah, mine are disappearing too.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me try doing an arrow stamp. See if I can do that. Did that stay?
No.
No, that went away too. Okay, so
I'm gonna stop sharing for a second and change my my graphic settings.
We're waiting on you because you're an anomaly. So now we're curious.
Take it out of Mac mode.
No.
Be careful with the arrows too on demo accounts, because sometimes you get them in opposite directions and they're not necessarily accurate to the live account. Because I had that experience in the past.
That shouldn't be the case, but sometimes you'll have bogus arrows that sort of leak in from the right side. If you change time frames, change back, it'll clear it right up.
Okay. I noticed that sometimes they would come through almost like they were based off of the 1 minute that I was on current. And the only reason I would know that is because on another computer, I would have it set to the 1 minute, and I would see that, okay, there's an arrow that just popped up. And then I would look at the 5 minute demo, and that same arrow would be in the same spot. So.
Well, if you ever see an arrow appear on the rightmost bar of the MACD, that's an error.
Okay.
It should never appear any place other than the first bar to the left of the right-hand edge.
Can you put that? Can you put that on the screen? Like right now, we're only seeing. Is anybody sharing your screen?
Nobody's sharing screen.
What you're saying?
Oh no, I was just saying in general. Sorry.
We're waiting on you.
I could take screenshots.
It'll be a minute because I have to go into my graphic settings. And so, commercial break. Who else has issues?
Can I ask you a question while you're doing that, if it won't distract you?
Sure.
How do you, is it your computer, the Razer, or is it for your child or husband or etc.?
Oh, it's mine.
Okay, I just wanted to.
So I got my own.
Okay, no, I just wanted to know how you find it in general, because I'm always curious about laptop brands, and you know, obviously this trading that we're doing, there's different options that you look at.
Yeah, so I looked at, I had, when I'm at home, I generally use my Mac and on a VPN. And so I have a Mac desktop and I have a Mac laptop. And I have an older version of the operating system on my laptop. So I was able to just put MT4 on that. However, I wanted more be and I travel, so I wanted something lighter. So I got a Razer to do everything that I wanted to do with trading and also multitasking, you know.
Right, yeah. So overall, you're satisfied.
Yeah, I really like it. I just have to remember to change that, my graphic setting when I zoom.
That's cool. I like their headphones.
Yeah, it's good. And then visually, it helped a lot because I could see things a lot clearer. You know, some of those smaller things that pop up, some of those wicks and things like that I was having with regular resolution is much better.
Yeah, outside of the insanity, your screen was crystal clear, and usually when people share, we don't always get that. And you know, there's always a.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the videos too. Sometimes it's hard to see because.
Stop talking about Jenny's computer.
I was talking about yours, Derek. You can't see nothing.
So for my computer gurus on here, should I buy that laptop as a travel laptop? Like, because I want something lighter than
I would rather get they're good, but me personally, I would probably get an ASUS any day with their higher end. But it really depends on the components in it at the end of the day.
The components, and it depends on how light you want it, because literally.
Yes.
I got the Razer Stealth, so it's literally as light as a MacBook Air.
Oh wow! So that's it's a lightweight, definitely. If it's that light. Yeah.
Okay, Rashida.
Yeah, that's appealing.
Will you send me a link for the one you bought?
Sure.
Thank you, pretty please. I always buy a couple new computers a year, except for my main Macs, because those last forever, as you guys know. So other than my Macs, those are still.
As you can't run.
I was gonna say, what are you doing to
software on it? That's why it lasts forever.
No, mine lasts forever. Like my Mac is good, but my Windows computers, like they never last me more than a few months, a year. Like it's awful. It's really
You're doing something to them.
You know, I hear that often, but what you got to realize, are you spending the same amount on your PC that you spend on your Mac?
Oh yeah.
That's just like saying, oh, my Volkswagen doesn't go as fast as a Ferrari. You know, it's like I hear people say that all the time. They buy a $400 PC and they have a $2,500 Mac, and then they say, oh, my Mac is so much reliable. It's like
that's a fair thought. That's a very
yeah. I say that all the time. It's like, come on now, you open up, I mean, for years, people don't realize you open up your Macs and they run an Intel. You know, it's like, duh.
Not for much longer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the new phones are changed. They're going back to theirs. Yeah.
Well, Scott, you were saying this number here determines how big those bias dots are.
Yes. So now, why is it so small? If you're running a normal definition now, that doesn't make sense. Oh, wait a minute. That's the font size of the messages. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
That's different. Where I think 12 is where you were, or 10 was where you were before. That's going to change this. Oops, let me turn my annotate back on now that it's probably going to work. That's the size of these messages over here. Oops, still can't annotate. Don't know why.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything.
It's possible there's a setting that is disallowing annotation.
Yeah, I can see your annotations at first, but I don't know why now.
Okay, interesting. Let me see if I can find. I thought. Geez, maybe I hard coded it.
I don't think so because my line is pretty wide. I'm pretty sure it's in the colors.
No, though that's actually text. That center line is actually made up of text elements.
Oh. Well. Huh. I'm gonna play with it now. That's yellow. Well, I have mine set to a little thicker, so maybe that's why. So under colors, I have mine all set to 2, 2, 2, 2. So 4 2s, and then yeah.
Well, those are going to be the bars on your on the histogram.
So none of those affect.
Although, you know, it's possible that those. Yeah, try bringing that up. No, mine are set just the way yours are.
Hmm.
Doesn't look like that changed anything.
How come hers looks different than mine, Scott?
Looks different than mine too.
Yeah, Scott and Jenny, how come mine looks different?
Don't ask me that stuff. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's the pilot.
Nah.
I have no idea.
Oh, wait a minute. It changed these.
Watch her figure out with something really small and simple. I love
Well, you just do one of the colors. It should just change that color if that's what it's going to do.
I think it's 4, 5, and 6.
Again? Oh, that changed it.
Yep, that did do it. What do you know?
Like I said.
What did you say? Was that Catherine?
Yeah, it's 4. It's color 4, 5, and 6. That will do the trick. You just change that 4, 5, and 6.
Great. Okay.
That's the bias colors.
I told you to change the bias colors.
Yeah.
Thank you, Catherine. I didn't know that.
Like I said.
No, because I actually tear this apart. So I actually have different arrows, different colors for different arrows.
Wow.
So, yeah, because I was initially playing with it, so I want to know what the arrows are telling me. So initially I had I literally had multiple MACDs on the chart, but I don't have it now. Previously, when I was just trying out and playing with to understand Scott's piece of
system.
Art. His piece of art.
Very nice.
Good. Okay.
The settings reverted. I don't know.
Yeah, it did go back. Maybe it looks the same for you, but.
Oh, darn it. Hold on a second.
Stop for, well, close that out for just a second. Let me show you another way to get in there. If you hover over the MACD until you see MACD description pull up, nope, not there, on the indicator itself. There you go, right click. Properties. So you can go directly to an indicator that way.
That's nice. All right, so let's go back to the colors. 4, 5, and 6. I think I know what I did. Why I changed back.
You probably didn't say okay or something. I don't know. You were on 3 before. 4 is going to be big. And honestly, mine are set to 0.
Well, you probably have better eyesight than I do, Scott.
No, it looked like it looked like yours after you set it to 3.
That's what I.
So those are, can you see those now?
No, it still looks the same. Looks like it didn't change.
Okay.
Have you tried like?
Does it look different for you?
Yeah, it looks way different. Y'all see my chart every day in every video. Like mine is way big on the line.
Jenny, did you look at your 4, 5, and 6 to see what those were set at?
Yeah, one of my brokers is.
Whatever reason, after I set them, they still keep going back to 0.
Yeah, mine is 0 as well, and doesn't look anything like yours.
Rashida, what is your display resolution set to now?
Let's see. Let's go see.
All right, I'm going to get coffee. I'm right back, guys. We all talking. We've got some good trades, and now we're talking about the ATMs.
Low resolution.
Yeah, I went low.
Even 720p. I'm mightily confused.
Yeah, and so sometimes when I have trouble with Zoom, I drop way down, but usually I'm
Wait a minute. The high resolution was only 1920 by 1080.
Yeah, that's weird. That's
That's only 1080p. That's just full high def. That's nothing.
exactly. That's why I said that's not gaming.
Yeah, I didn't. These are not the. There's a whole nother thing.
Oh, settings. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Hello, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. I've been coming to your class about maybe 3, 4 weeks now, and I mean, I still don't know much about the indicator. I'm seeing the regular trading. I've been doing that for probably a year or so. Have been profitable on it, and I'm trying to figure out, to learn more about the indicator. How do I find out more about that?
There are videos in the Google Doc that describe. Actually, is there any? We did some quite a while back. If you look in the Google Drive, there's things about the MACD indicator. There are at least 2 videos that kind of dive down in depth. Okay, what did you do, Rashida? I wasn't watching. There it is.
So I changed the display settings again to a little bit higher of a resolution, and then I went in and changed all these to 3.
Okay.
And hit OK. So it's definitely nice to be able to see them.
Yeah, that's close to how it's supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
If you shrink that up much, it's going to all kind of run together a bit, though. That's
Is that because I made them larger?
Yes, they're probably a little larger than optimal, but it's weird that the standard setting isn't working.
Yeah, I was wondering. I think I have the most up-to-date version of the MACD because at first I thought.
Yeah, any of the previous versions won't even run now. Wrong one. There you go.
And I saw you hit your video adapter to 125%.
That's the font size. Font size.
Oh, font size. Oh, gotcha.
So, okay, that looks normal.
Okay. Now, other question. When I change the settings and when I save the template, will it save all of those MACD settings as well?
It's supposed to.
Because I usually save the settings for the MACD exclusively, and then I go in after that and then save the template.
Well, I'm going to pull up the code for that quickly. Trying to figure out whether I hard coded that or not.
You want me to stop sharing? I think that was
No,
all.
no. I just need to look at the source code for the indicator.
Can you see the bias line or no?
Yeah, I can now. You still can't see it?
Well, I mean, I'm
Well,
not.
it's there, but it's back to the small blocks again.
Oh, so it kind of goes back, it seems, after kind of defaults back on its own, it seems.
And I'm looking.
I was just going to say, what setting do you usually run your computer on? Like when you turn it on before you even come to class and you're doing your own thing, what's your display usually set on?
It's usually set on the highest resolution.
Well, that should be, 1920 by 1080 is run-of-the-mill resolution. It should be no problem running at that setting, and you should have no problem with zoom at that setting.
Okay.
So
maybe your video driver or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, there's something going on.
So yeah, because CVs changed back on their own. We went back.
Yep. And the thing is that I don't think any of us have ever messed with those. Catherine might have for color.
Yeah, call Razor support. Let them know you're having problems with your video adapter. They may have a fix if they don't have it online.
Yeah.
Sometimes vendors will have stuff that they're working on that's, not gold yet, and they'll push it out to you directly.
Okay. I think they have.
It could be something like that. It could be something quirky.
That didn't change.
Yep, it keeps going back.
Scott, could you have hard coded that?
Hello, I got another question.
There it is.
It likes 2,
Yeah, Ron.
3.
Okay. I had looked at the videos and I'm still not getting any profit from the indicators. I mean, I thought, when I signed up for the video chat that I thought it was morely about the indicators, because I know everything about trading mostly. It just I wanted to learn about the indicators, the daily dots and the simplicity and everything, how it works. And do y'all do classes on that particular type of stuff?
Oh, sorry, I don't see your name because we're sharing somebody else's screen. Who's speaking?
It's Ronald.
It's Ronald.
Okay. So a couple things. Yes, Uncle P usually goes over classes on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings, and then every other Tuesday, so the first and third Tuesday of the week of the month, I'll do like beginner classes, and we can talk about the daily dot, simplicity, and all of their stuff. So this is just added information. It's like you get signals from mostly Mr. Elvis and Uncle P, and then in here, this is a whole nother set of indicators, a whole nother set of strategies, a whole nother really thought process to be more, I don't know, clear and direct. But it's So what is it you looking to see in here? Maybe I can help accommodate. But
Well, I mean, I've been coming to the class for about, I think, 2 weeks. And all I've heard was, regular trading. I haven't heard anything about simplicity itself, or, I signed up for super easy, and I was just trying to figure out everything. That's why basically got on the video dial for the super easy, like, to figure out exactly how to make trading easier for myself. And I don't know. It seemed like I'm getting the same thing from.
Maybe you should try and attend Uncle P's class.
Yeah, it's his class is what you're looking for. We
So
have a different focus.
I mean, I don't mind. Y'all guys are good too, but I'm saying, like, it's just.
Understand?
You know what I mean. I signed up for
Understand.
I'm trying to figure out that part too.
I don't think there's any problem with it. It's just that it's literally a different class. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
You came into a Kung Fu class looking for karate. You need to go to the karate class. Go to Uncle P's class. That's all. And he, it is what it is. It's okay. You just in the wrong class. What you're looking for. Just go to Uncle P's class, and you'll get exactly what you're requesting, and you'll be happy.
Because he does a lot with simplicity. So yeah.
So his classes are what days? And
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesdays.
So in here we mostly scalp. Like in these indicators, we mostly scalp. And if you learn the rules and stuff, you can do that. And if you're looking for simplicity, like in terms, do you have the scanner?
No, I don't think I purchased a scanner.
The scanner kind of sends you out an alert for basically simplicity signals.
Oh yes, matter of fact, I do. I have that.
Okay, so I would highly recommend the scanner if you're looking to trade with simplicity. And then if you're looking for like ideal settings in terms of simplicity, Uncle P has those in all of his classes as well, and he kind of goes over that. I'm pretty sure he was mostly using the 30-minute time frame, but like me, okay, he's using a plethora of things. Not just that. As you evolve as a trader, we no longer sit there and swear by one thing, and because most people who do, they're fibbing through their teeth. But so he does use simplicity mostly. He does use he's learning and evolving in other areas as well. So he's finding trades multiple ways, but he goes and gives trades in the signals group based off of simplicity is my understanding. And then of course his classes are Tuesday and Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And they go over simplicity. I don't think he really talks about the daily dot much there. And remember, the daily dot is just structure based. It's just, I think it's a fractal formula or something, but it does repaint, not as much as the other ones. And it's not bad in terms of kind of catching a quick reversal or kind of I think it's probably most useful like for timing tops and what have you, counter trend trading. But we have a strategy called the Stairmaster, and it works really, really well with that. So for example, when you have a 1 hour, 4 hour trade that simplicity is saying is a buy, and you get a daily dot on that kind of thing that says it's also going into a buy, it just gives you an additional added entry kind of concept. So anything else aside from that level, you can try the first and third Wednesday of the month, Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. You can please write that down. Anything about simplicity or daily dot or whatever it is you're wanting to know about that, you can come to those classes. And then of course, Tuesday and Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time, he posts that in the super easy group and the notification group. And I think that's where you'll find, you're more easy to find looking for. So
I would say, the daily dot is mostly everything. The arrows is kind of, it kind of forms in the middle of the attack, but it seems like the daily dot catches the beginning of everything. I mean, that's what I'm noticing, but I just want to know exactly what I'm doing with it and, get the full details of it. So you said Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I got you.
Yep, and that is Pat's classes. That's what he does.
Yeah, he might not even go over the daily dot with you because that's part of the advanced membership group. So as part of the advanced membership, your job is to kind of advance your knowledge and kind of grow and learn a little bit. So pretty sure he's going to mostly stick to simplicity when he discusses stuff, just so you know.
All right. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Rashida, can you try putting the ADX line back on?
Sure. Did I go down too far?
Yeah, too far. Yeah. That's just weird. It's the same shape, but it's not scaled.
Mm-hmm.
I think you found an anomaly with this. So
That is just super bizarre. Can you go back to your display settings once quickly?
You know, you could cut yourself with razors.
You know what?
And
they make good headphones.
25% right now.
What'd you say?
Make that 100%.
This right here?
Yeah. And yeah, no change. I thought that only affected font sizes, and it does appear to be what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something very strange going on your computer.
I told you it's because it's a PC. It's okay though.
Yeah.
Seriously, check your video device driver and make sure, you know, there's nothing special about it. And call Razor tech support, let them know what's going on.
Or log into the website and see if they have updates for your machine.
Yeah, definitely. That's the first place to start.
Wait a minute, that's the onboard Intel graphics.
Oh. I'll shut up. You talk, Scott.
Yeah, there's nothing fancy about that.
She's like, there's uh-oh, the smart guys are going to come in here and stomp on everything that you just got sold. No, I'm just joking. That's not fancy.
No, I mean, every Intel processor of the i series has built-in graphics, and this is just the built-in graphics, so it's not even an external graphics driver.
I know nothing. You guys know that. Nothing.
Eric, I never have these issues with a PC either.
Settings look fine.
Yeah, and those are really low resolution settings.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I'm at a loss.
I'll communicate with the Razor people and see what.
Yeah, hopefully it's just something simple like that.
Yeah, they had some type of a patch or something. I never downloaded it.
Yeah. I figured when you said it was as small as a MacBook Air, I was like, it's impossible to put a video adapter in there. So, but I just, you know, set it up.
Well, we all learn, guys. So we think when we
know it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Hey, guys, that's enough for today. We were lucky to catch a couple of winning trades. Super blessed to be able to do so. Please consider some of the stuff that we went over in terms of A, let's not be so afraid to catch a few pips on opening candle. It sure speeds up the class. B, when you guys are taking counter trend trades or re-entries, those are the ones you want to protect and treat like a scalp. If you're taking the original entry, wait for the retest, you know, if it's against the trend on the higher time frame. But those are the ones you want to kind of ideally hold and see if you can't get that max amount of pips or points out of it. So please, please, please consider posting screenshots for the challenge. It's a little bit of money in your pocket. It also helps everybody else. But most importantly, at the end of this 4 weeks, this is a little bit longer and it's going to go through the election and everything else. I think that you'll be able to show yourself what is possible when you can actually follow the same rules and actually manage your trades well. So that is my hope for everybody, that you guys can get some experience with a trade manager, understand the value of following the same rules, and become a profitable trader. I'm talking some of you guys would be able to withdraw a decent amount of money before, you know, the month of December for Christmas or for donating or secret blessings. Like, no kidding, that's what's possible. So other than that, I'm not going to be silly enough to ask if anybody has another question because I asked that like 87 times per class. So at the end, I'm not going to ask it because it's time to get off.
When's the next class?
I know, right? But we will, no class tonight. We will do Thursday morning. So if we get good at taking this opening bell, I might have an informal, here's a risk disclaimer let's jump on and catch some pips real quick. Just a few minutes, not a lot of questions kind of things other mornings, because I was not able to duplicate the 1 minute simplicity system like I wanted, or the 5 minute for that matter. But I'm haven't given up quite yet. I'm just playing with it in comparison to our current strategy. We still have to go with whatever's better. So anyways, I will consider doing that also. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Do something fun. Take care and God bless.
Okay, Jen.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jay Money.
Thank you guys all for being you, because you guys are honestly